Hello and welcome to Autism, the show that's always unique, totally interesting, and sometimes mysterious.
Indeed. And tonight, Aimee and myself will be looking at safety at home and in the community as well, because, you know, you spend a lot of time in the community, so at home wouldn't just cut it, but it made too long of a title, so I cut it a little short.
That's right.
But yeah, but that's what we're going to be up to tonight, because in, you know, as Aimee, as you well know, I mean, there's a lot of safety issues when it comes to, especially around the house. There's so many things that the average person wouldn't even consider, but we're watching.
Exactly. And that's something we definitely have to watch out for here. Hence the reason why Matthew can't stay home all by himself yet, even though he is 15 years old. He's just not ready.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, I could run next door to return a toy a kid forgot, but that's about it. I've got about 45 seconds and that's it.
Right. Same here. I can run out to the mailbox because it's not that far and then run right back and I'm good there. So that's about it.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. So how about we flip over to the classroom and dig right in?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Would you like to take us through?
Sure. The first part is going to be creating safety plans for people with autism. It is critical to take the time to evaluate what your family member needs to be safe and protected at home, school, and in the community.
I finally figured out I was on the wrong slide, so I just got it to the right one. So we'll give everybody a second to catch up. I don't know what happened there. It's that whole when I set things up because I had switched hard drives around, everything was in the wrong place and I was not quite as prepared as I thought. But there we go.
There we go. But this is something that is very critical.
Mm-hmm. And it really does start with a real evaluation, but you will find that things get added to the list a lot because as time, and like when you make your assessment and go through and make a list, within a week, you're going to add another 10% of whatever, how many items you had, because there's going to be things that skipped your attention the first time, but you saw them after. For sure.
Absolutely. And we're still, I mean, to this day, we're still going, oh, I didn't think of that one. Oh, I didn't think of this. And he's 15 now. So it'll happen probably the rest of his life,
Yeah, I can see that. Definitely.
Yeah.
So let's go through some here. Would you like to continue?
Sure. Top safety risks for people with autism include wandering or eloping from safety, pica, drowning, household toxins, and misunderstandings related to communication difficulties.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a lot to go with that one.
Oh yeah. For us wandering until we finally got it curbed. My little guy, when he was 4 years old, just thought the world was his oyster and was ready to take off at a moment's notice. And wow, did you have to watch that little guy? Holy.
It is amazing how fast those little legs can move. It's you know those little dogs, those little tiny dogs with their legs are blurs. That was Matthew. He was, and he could move.
Oh yeah. And with my son when he was like 4 years old, he would be so in his bubble of exploration that he wouldn't realize, oh, wait a minute, I'm on my own and that's not a situation I'm used to, so I want my parents around or whatever. No, he would be so lost in his bubble that he would, if it only happened once that he actually got away from me, but where we lived, it was easy to find him and figure it all out. But
right.
Oh, he wouldn't snap out of it until it might have been 3 hours that he'd be gone if you didn't catch him. And by then, who knows,
Exactly. And Matt did that to me once. We were in Walmart and I put him down for a second to turn around and move stuff around so I can put him back in the cart after we were checking out. And that little guy, he just took right off. And back then our Walmart had Dunkin' Donuts. Well, he wanted a donut hole and he had told me that earlier. So he was headed that direction.
Yeah. I know what I want, but wait for me.
Exactly. And being short, I can't run quite as fast as he could. So
right. Oh yeah.
Oh boy, that was something else.
and with household toxins for us, we go way above and beyond just putting them way up and out of reach. Like there's no such thing as dangerous items under the sink and whatnot. That just doesn't happen. They're way up and out, but those cupboards are locked shut too. Like there's no way he's getting in by accident.
No, and we did the same thing too. We padlock. We had to.
Yeah.
And I just kept the key on my keys and kept everything together. So everybody look at my key ring and go, holy cow, what's she got on there?
Yeah.
But we had to. It was something that was, pretty pink stuff. Ooh, let's drink that. No.
Yeah.
You know?
That can be bad quick. In our present location, we've got this nice little laundry room that's basically useless because it's tiny. And I just put the key lock on it. Boom. I can put anything I want in there and lock the door.
Absolutely. Yep. And that's the best thing to have too. It's just a separate place to put everything.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the best way. Drowning. I mean, drowning, most people are used to the, you can actually drown in very little water and, the statistic and whatnot. Right. But the reality is such, and the way like a 9-year-old or 8-year-old can play in the tub or whatever can be instantly super bad, dangerous. It is so fast.
Absolutely. It is very fast. And Matt was obsessed with water when he was little too. So it was something that we had to really concentrate on. And that's it. It was something, that we worried about, because I have a picture of him over, those grates that they have over like the manholes and stuff like that. Water. He'd be going and he'd be looking down the hole. And I have a picture of him doing that. Yeah. And back where we lived before, there was a stream that ran behind our house, and so we really had to be very careful with that. That's it.
Yeah, we live in there's 3 lakes within a 25-minute drive radius of where I live, and when Felix was 2 years old, we lived I would say a quarter mile from the beach, and the property we rented on had private beach. So that was a factor of life. And wow, it's you want to get, like, you got a private beach to go and hang out at. It was amazing. But it was such a nightmare with like a 2.5, 3-year-old autistic kid that basically you were just flaunting danger the whole time and you didn't actually do it often.
Absolutely. That was the issue right there. It was with us too. I mean, we had this beautiful stream. I mean, it was maybe 100 meters from the house. And so we were worried about that all the time. Is he going to go over there instead of coming this way? Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
You just think, no.
Yeah, exactly. So when we moved here, it was like, oh, relief.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And misunderstanding related to communication difficulties. I mean, realistically, that could be as something as, can you grab me that there on the couch there or on the counter there, buddy? And what he does is he could pick up a knife by the blade.
Yep. Yes. Could pick up the wrong item thinking that's what I was asking for, and not, hey, can you hand me that cup? And he's not really quite, he's in his own little world sometimes when I ask him for things, and it's like, I better not, never mind. It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah. There's times when you can tell if you're going to get through or not. You look over and you just go, forget it. I'm just going to, you know better.
Exactly. Yeah, we do. It's like, you can tell, even from behind. I'm watching him move around, and it's like, yep, okay, never mind. I'll just go get it.
Yep. Exactly.
Yes.
Funny. Should we do the next one?
Sure.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
But I'm sorry. Just one more thing. That Pica, when he was little, he put a lot of things in his mouth because it was a texture thing.
Yes.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
So it could have been anything.
Oh, we had that too when Felix was like 2-ish, and younger for sure, but anything small at all. There was no such thing as, I'm going to put my little trinket collection up on that low shelf. No, forget it. That's food now,
Exactly. It was okay because a lot of I like sugars and creamers, so I had some of those on a bottom shelf I had some little plastic ones that were from a little tea set that one of the kids had. So I kept those on the bottom, and he could play with those because they're big enough that you can't swallow it. So,
yeah.
But other than that, you can forget it. Nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing small for the longest time. So.
No, too dangerous, not worth the risk.
Exactly.
So, yeah, next ones.
Sure. we have a safety plan checklist. The first thing is, does the person with autism tend to wander, run away, or get lost in a crowd? Nope, you're all set. You want to know if it was super chat? He is funny. Have your home, school, and community activities been evaluated for safety? And there are some more too. Oops.
Okay. There you go.
There, thank you. And then, have preventative measures been put into place in each of these areas? Does the person always wear identification with a contact number listed? And have you let your community know about your family member with autism? And that's another thing.
Before we continue again, should we cover a couple before some of them get lost?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that would be a good idea.
Yeah, we did an evaluation where we had I guess you could say project coordinator. I can't remember what he wants to call himself. Different people, different titles, but
right.
He popped over after we did one and added a couple things to my list. And then we had an appointment where, after going over it with Felix and why things are dangerous and stuff, we did it at the school with everybody else as well. And it was great because everybody picked something up from it. It was really, really good.
It was good. And having all of those fresh pairs of eyes on that list is such an important thing. Because like we were talking about before, there's always something that gets missed.
Yeah.
There's always something that gets updated.
Yeah. And there's, more the merrier when it comes to catching it all, for sure. Absolutely. And when it comes to the community, that can go so far as to, just making sure a few key people you interact with at a couple of grocery stores and whatnot get the whole deal. Because then if you just look down to, I dropped my card and little one runs off, when you pop up, the person's going to point and go right there. I mean, it's just so much easier to take the steps ahead of time.
It really is. And we did that too, because he likes to shop at Walmart. He has his routine. That's the thing he likes. So we did that. We went straight to the service desk and said, hey, we just want to give you guys a heads up about, we shop here and we shop here a lot. He's got autism and may wander or run or so they got to know him. And now every time we go in, it's like, hey, Matt, they'll say, yeah, so it's good. And they know, so they can, say, oh, there he is. He's over here. He's with me. Or if something negative is happening because, oh, sorry. So if something's happening, like somebody decides to pick on him or something, they also have our back with that too. So it's helpful in so many ways. So
exactly. Yeah, it's good. So we will continue here then.
Yes.
So safety plan checklist continued. Are safety skills included in the IEP, individual education plan, in your school district? Well, we touched on that. If they aren't, make sure it is. Have you contacted your local 911 call centers? And that can be a good thing to do, because if you let the 911 people know that your number could be one that could be randomly dialed by somebody that's not making sense, you've got the autistic one on the line.
Right. And there are many other safety issues involved in that too. Like if one of us calls because we have we're having a crisis going on or something, at least they'll have an idea of why we're having a crisis, and they'll have that on record saying, why. We actually have a crisis hotline that we can call first before we call 911, which is actually better. But it's always good. And just in case of wandering too, if they get lost, because Mr. Longlegs now could probably really get far before I could catch him. Yeah. It's best if they know that, and they can say, oh, okay, we know where to look for him. We'll see what we can do to find him. So there is that as well.
And with the bottom point, the updating the safety plan on a regular basis. And what I'll add to that is an addendum or whatever would be also when you're shopping and, let's say you're looking at like new patio furniture or I don't know, a coffee table or whatever whatever's being bought to bring into the home, make sure it fits within your safety plan. Make sure you're not just going, oh, that was stupid. You don't want, right? You don't want to buy something and then go, damn, what am I thinking? Well, I don't, this is a horrible thing to have. So,
Exactly. That is something that, if we replace something in the home, I do have to keep that in mind. And one of the things that we like to do is if something breaks that we had good luck with, we'll try to replace it and be as close as possible because because of that. It's yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Here, and I'll flip us down. So getting around. It is important to teach the proper skills necessary to stay safe when out in the community. And I'll let you take it here, Aimee.
Sure. We've got people with autism need to know the proper skills for getting around, such as crossing the street, learning landmarks and directions, riding the bus, and taking public transportation. Those are huge if your loved one is independent enough. It's really something that's really critical.
Yeah. Well, what I've done is we basically have one cab company that thinks they're two in town. And what I also did was Felix always knows his address. And at first, the idea of getting on a bus was not a good one. But once we did take a ride, he was cool with it. And he's got his little services card that gives him a free pass on a bus. Plus, he knows, the dispatcher knows my son's name and, our address is written down and stuff. So if he was ever lost and he got on a bus or called a cab, he's going to get home.
Absolutely. And that's good. That's a good thing to have. And we've been working really hard with Matthew on that too. He needs to know his address. He needs to know at least one of our phone numbers. My cell phone is easy enough to remember, so we use that instead because that's the easy one.
Yeah.
He's my navigator, so which is actually a good thing that I played that up with him and made sure that we work together on that because he does know landmarks and directions and he knows maps and everything, so he can actually point out in a roundabout way where we live. So that's actually a good thing too. He can read maps and so he can tell people this is right here, so.
Yep, definitely. My little guy knows our local area awesome. So if anything was to happen, he would just end up at home. Like he would know to.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't trust him to do that at 8 years old, but 13 coming on 14, it's different now. Definitely easier. So
absolutely. Like Matt on 15, he's 15, so he's getting better at that. So he'd know where to go if it.
Yeah. Cool. Here, let's flip to the next one then. Asking for help. When people with autism are out in the community, it is critical that they know what to do in certain situations that may arise. This may often require asking for help. Knowing how to ask for help safely and swiftly will ensure safety. And this is really, really difficult for a lot of people on the spectrum to be able to approach somebody that they don't know and say, excuse me, or, I need some help or whatever. But, if you can teach it to them, it's, it's just another tool in the stay safe plan.
Absolutely. And also can go right in that plan. And it's, definitely. Knowing the right people to ask, knowing, when and how to talk to people is critical for that. It's just something that we work really hard on that. So.
Yeah. I know my son, if he was lost, he would go into a store and look for a person working with a name tag because then he can say their name and he's more comfortable talking to them. And that's what he would do.
And that's actually good. That's a good plan to have. If you're near a store, go in and ask somebody with a name tag. That's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's good that he knows that. And we did that too. We, whoever works there, look for somebody that works there. And we've told him how to find the service desk too. That's a big thing.
Good.
And then that way they can page somebody. So that's what we
Mm-hmm.
do too.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right. I think your turn.
Okay, thank you. Asking for help. Everyone should know what to do if lost, who to ask for help, and a big one is how to deal with strangers. That is something that's really big.
Yeah, strangers is a tough one because how do you teach a child who's a little unsure to not talk to strangers, but ask a stranger for help, right? So like, that's why I said, I know my son would go for somebody with a name tag because they're not considered just random people.
Right. It's not just a random stranger off the street. It is somebody who is, able to help. And definitely that's what we've tried to do too. Because if you see someone behind the service desk, they're there to help. So that's what we tried to do too.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing just to make sure because it's good and safe. And like it's not just name tags. Maybe I'm saying that a little bit light because it's not. It's people that are working. So, like somebody that might have a name tag at Starbucks because they're on lunch from somewhere else isn't going to cut it.
Right.
It would have to be somebody that's, wearing the Walmart shirt or something. So,
right.
Yeah.
That's a perfect one because, they have that look. I tell them, look for that big flower shaped thingy on the shirt. You're all set.
Yeah, exactly.
That seems to work.
Yeah. And I've been with my son at the grocery store before where I'll be looking at one thing and he will see one of the staff members and he'll be trying to, get at something that's too high for him. And he'll say, "Excuse me, help." And I've heard that. So that's pretty good. He's getting there.
He's getting there. That's
yeah. What the actual? Okay, hold on a second here. Sorry, there's something weird going on. Streamlabs seems to be like losing its mind. Oh, I see. There's been a poll running on Streamlabs since the last show. The last poll was never closed. That's why it's being weird. Okay. There we go. Okay, here yeah, what do you mean?
Really? Is it this bad?
Yeah. Well, Streamlabs got some splaining to do.
Okay,
here. Yeah, I'll move us forward here. Okay, so your turn again, I think, right? Yeah. Okay, your turn. Oh, who cares?
No, we're all set, Matt. Asking for super chats again. Okay, using public restrooms. Using a public restroom is a different experience from using the bathroom at home. Teaching the proper skills and etiquette to an individual with autism is imperative. And that is something we had to work on a lot. So that's something that, yeah. Because being the mother, it was a little bit harder with a son because he's to an age where he really shouldn't be going to the bathroom in the ladies' room.
That's right.
But there's also a safety issue. I couldn't just march right into the men's room either. So
that's right. Yeah.
So that was my
son's
one.
Yeah, my son's mother's had that same issue quite a few times. I've heard that. They'll be out for the day doing whatever, and she'll text me after. This bathroom thing is so annoying. You have it so easy.
Yeah. And then one time we had an issue where Matt panicked in the bathroom, and all inhibition went out the window. I had to go save my kid, and I come flying in. I said, "My eyes are closed. I'm so sorry. My son has autism."
Yeah. So there's nothing you can do. You got to go. Exactly.
You got to go in there. You got to save your kid. So
yeah.
And actually, I apologize profusely, and the people that were in there were actually really understanding, which was really good, because of course I was just disclosing as I was running. So
yeah.
And he goes, "You handled that very well." He's like, "So don't worry about it." I was like, "Oh, thanks." Just had to. I heard the child panic. Had to save him. So, but that could have gone the other way too. So.
Oh yeah, exactly. Exactly. That can be one of those things. And it's a moment the average person never gives a thought to, but we sure do. Holy.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So here, I'll jump us along. So plan checklist for public restroom safety. And so we'll touch on some more stuff now here. Discuss the risks with trusted people. Practice by role playing, and this can be really good for, surfaces and whatnot. Develop autism disclosure handouts, and that's something that could be really good for the situation we just heard, right? Adapt and amend your plan as needed, and that's going to happen a lot as, person grows up. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that does happen. He's grown so much now that we just, go in there. Oh, got a child with autism coming in. And the other day he went in and we didn't have an incident like we had that time. So he just went in, did his thing, and come right back out.
Nice.
So that was good. So we can adapt and amend as needed. We always do. Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. We've it's been improving quite a bit with my little guy. He gets it. But I've had it so much easier in this regard, just because, wherever we go, I can always go with him.
Absolutely. When he was small, I just took him in the ladies' room, and most of the people understood at that point.
Yeah.
And when he got bigger, it was a little hard, but we've adapted to that too, and he does really well. He just worries and is so afraid that I'm going to leave. So I have to stand by the door, and every once in a while I'll hear him shouting to me, "Mama, are you there?"
Yeah. Doing a little Marco Polo call and answer to make sure.
Exactly. And I'll just yell, "Yup."
Yeah. So, one thing that's really good in my area is it's not huge. So most of the wheelchair accessible bathrooms are an extra bathroom that's, just simply it's there, use it. And that I know, we have them at our parks and at our beaches and stuff. And my son's mom loves it because there's no men's or whatever. It's one person at a time, and there's enough room, and she can be with them.
Absolutely. I like those too for that reason. And we just both go right in, and that way he doesn't have to worry about me not being there.
Yeah.
And
so it's comfortable and good. Yeah. You don't have to worry about other people around. So I recommend that to everybody. Just always head to those. It's definitely easier.
The one at a time rooms are so much easier.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So you want to take the next one?
Sure. The next one is playing in the neighborhood. Being out in the neighborhood with family members, friends, or peers can be a very enjoyable experience for people with autism. One can and should teach their loved ones some key skills to keep them safe. And that is so true.
Especially right now.
Yes, absolutely. Right? There's a lot that goes with being, right now with the pandemic and everything. You have to make sure that they maintain their distance, and so that's something to add to their safety plan too, to keep reminding them, because it's like any other kid too. They're not gonna remember.
That's right. And
the masks always come off flying. It's like scarves and mittens and hats.
Yeah. So my son a couple years ago, as he was coming out of his shell a bit, and he was a bit more interested in trying to communicate with people, would literally want to just walk up to everybody. Oh, hello, sir, or hello, ma'am. And you don't do that with somebody that's got like open sores from scratching for 3 days with no sleep. You know what I mean? You know what I'm getting at there? So there was a real, whoa, pull back, buddy. The whole world isn't your friend. Let's learn.
Right.
And
or that certain someone who drives a van and drives by staring at your kids because they look, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like,
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. And really shag carpet in a Chevy van is not cool. Right?
No panel vans. Thank you. No. Unless it's, and you have to make sure they can differentiate between someone who always comes like the mailman or, because he used to know the mailman and he used to talk to him all the time. And that was fine because we knew him. We got to know him because he'd come through.
Yeah.
And, that's okay. But there's a difference too. You have to make sure that just not some random person is just, that's a difficult one to do. But it's something that really needs to be done.
Oh yeah. We did what was called the circle of friends. And there was 3 levels to it. There was family, close friends, and people in general. And it worked great. It really set some good boundaries. And it was easy to draw and illustrate and show in a, almost tangible way, right?
Absolutely. We have a program similar to that. We called it the Circles program. And and we had various sizes and colors for each one. And the smallest one is them. And then family and friends and how to interact with each one. So we even had, you can't just walk up to a stranger and touch them and hug them. You have to, there are certain ways to go about greeting people and who aren't in your inner circles. So we had that too, which really made an impact on him. And he had, for the longest time, he'd carry it around because we had some circles laminated for him to show, he'd say, oh, okay, this person, and he'd be flipping through his circles.
Yeah. Cool.
Exactly. Cool. So it's something that we practiced too. And so he knows now. He's doing really well with that.
Yeah. It's important to get those distinctions in. Not always easy, but they do catch on. It's not as hard as you would think, especially compared to some things. They catch on to the lines of this pretty quick. They do.
They really do. And having something visual to go on really cemented that in for Matthew. So that it didn't take long at all. And now he knows how to interact with people on a much better level. So that's good.
Cool. All right, here, I'll bring us forward. Playing in the neighborhood, the buddy system. Children who are alone have a greater risk of being harmed. Using the buddy system is one way children can reduce their vulnerability to victimization. Where I live, it's a townhouse complex, and there's kids all over the place. It's pretty much fenced in, except not like in a security way, but it pretty much is. Right. And this is exactly how it goes. All the kids know they're not supposed to just be out on their own. You're with somebody, or you come home and let an adult know that you're on your own. And then it's either come in time or I'll go out with them or whatever. But yeah, right. It's just not 1950s white picket fence world anymore, right?
Oh, it certainly isn't. So yeah, we have to be careful with that. And since there aren't really any kids in his neighborhood here that we play with, he can only stay in my yard. I have to be able to see him at all times, so I'm always peeking out the window at him. It's a lot of the times, like if I'm doing laundry, it's a good thing because the washer and dryer is right there and I can see what he's doing. Right. And he can go out and I can step back a little bit now because he is older. Right. But still, I'm always constantly checking on him. I peek so that he can't see that I'm checking on him. But
yeah.
I still do.
Yeah. Me too.
Yes.
We have 2 families here who have known my son for about 5-6 years now. So when
Mhm.
he's with them, I know that everything's okay, and I'll just get a text if anything gets, oh, there might be an escalation or whatever. But I mean, with them, he's fine. He can go for a couple hours. Everybody's good. They'll let me know if anybody was being a jerk with him or whatever. So it's really nice, but that takes some good stability in a place for a while. It doesn't always happen, right?
Absolutely. And that's been one of my biggest things for him is stability and having a good neighborhood for him to be in and be able to stay in
Mm-hmm.
and get to know everybody and become familiar with everything is huge for kids and
Oh
especially
yeah.
with our kids on the spectrum because it change like that does take a while to get used to.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. It's good. If you've got a kid on the spectrum, 9, 10 years
Mhm.
old, couple neighborhood friends, you just got to make sure that the parents and the kids have been, they're up to speed on what it really takes. Like, okay, if you guys are going to be playing for a bit, you got to be on the ball a bit. This isn't just
Yep.
it's not quite the same, but probably
Right,
rewarding.
exactly.
Right?
Oh, it is. It certainly
Right.
is. It's
Yeah.
yeah. Our kiddos are amazing, so
Yeah. I agree. I
yeah.
agree. Here, do you want to take the last one?
Sure. We've got playing on the playground this time. Do you want to read the last one, honey? Sure, you can read this one, hun. He wants to read this
Yay.
last one. This is yeah,
All
and this is a
right.
good one for you. This is fun. Want to read
I'm
this?
back. Sorry
Okay.
about that.
You're fine.
Playing in the neighborhood, playing on the playground. Teaching kids how to play softly is important. If they know the rules of the playground, they're less likely to get hurt. They must know how to be safe and act responsibly at the playground.
Yes, good job. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good job, Matt. Thanks for joining us, buddy.
Yeah. And he's right too. Learning how to
Mhm.
play safely is very important, like not shoving your friends off the slide.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
if they're taking too long.
Yeah. Or something like the rules of tag. I remember the first couple times kids tried to get my son to play and he just didn't understand what they were doing. And I kept explaining it to him and trying to show him and got him to, okay, I got it now. And then he could actually play instead of just running around with them.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And just teaching them how to, the different games so that it's, so that they can play with their friends. It does make it easier.
Hmm. Yeah. And
Yeah.
there's the safety angle. If you've got climb to the top and there's a slide, you don't want the autistic kid to get overexcited and bump somebody and maybe they fall off or something. Like I think that angle is a little bit more important with the autistic kid than average, even though the average kid can
Right.
get overexcited too. It's when they ramp up, there's not a lot of awareness.
Right. And especially as they get bigger, because Matt
Yeah.
is quite strong for a little guy. So he could send a kid flying if he gets, so excited and he's just wiggling all over the place because I'm next on the slide, they are
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
yeah.
You gotta-
So it's yeah, and he's just not aware of his surroundings enough. So so that couldn't be a thing too. So we have to teach him, if you feel excited, oops, I can see you're ramping up. Let's use our strategy so we don't knock our friends over or anything. So sometimes it's a constant thing during the day if he's really excited about being able to get out on the playground. Spring is one of those times. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. After when the winter is ending and spring is kicking in, and as soon as it starts to get nice out, holy, do they want to go? But you can't blame them because everybody's like that, right?
Exactly. It's cabin fever on steroids. It's
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy.
Christmas should be moved to the end of winter, just as spring's about to hit, because then people can just, chow down for a solid week on good stuff, and then you're instantly active. It'd be a lot easier to deal with.
It sure would be, because dealing with a hyperactive kid stuck inside on like a minus 17 Celsius day. That's kind of like,
Yep.
that's crappy.
Oh, the year that Nintendo released the Nintendo Wii was awesome. My guy was just
Yes.
little, and as soon as I got a hold of that and played like tennis and golf for like the simple games that came with it, I knew right away, oh, this is going to be amazing for those times when it's winter and it's nasty, but he's just got to get some energy out. And we still use it to this day because it's just simple, easy. I mean, it doesn't have to be the big fancy tennis game. Just Wii Sports is great, man. They'll play for 2 hours and then there's, everything's good.
Absolutely. Get some of that energy out. We have that, we're working on that too. And then sometimes what we'll do is we'll take his scooter to the rec center because they have certain days where kids can ride their scooter on the track inside.
Cool.
Or I just one day I'd had enough. So I got him in there and I said, get it out, run. I'll stand here and watch you. Just run, please. We've done that too. So anything like that does help. And that does sound like an awesome thing, having a Wii U like that to be able to get them to be, getting active like that.
They're super cheap still. And really all you need is Wii Sports and then Wii Sports Resort, the second one they brought out. And it's just awesome. It's so good.
Yes. The teen center has that, and Matt loves the bowling because he loves to go bowling.
Yeah. Felix too. He does the skills one where you end up throwing the ball at over 100 pins, and he thinks it's really cool.
Matt loves it, so he likes to go do that. So we've done that before too. That's right, you did. He's yelling in the background about playing Wii games. Yes.
Yeah.
Because I mentioned the teen center.
Yeah.
He's yelling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that there's a whole bunch of different things that we can do too in the winter, which is good. And on the calmer days, we go to the library in the winter, but
that calmer days. Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I recommend that Wii to everybody because it really gets the energy out. And they're like, what, $25, $30 used or whatever these days,
Exactly, because everyone wants the Switch now, so you can get a Wii U for cheap. So.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I think we're at the end of the presentation and all our comments, and it's 47 minutes in, so maybe we should switch over to the main set and get ready to say goodbye to everybody.
That's right. That ended up being the perfect amount of time today. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that means we're one episode closer to having guests on and stuff. So pay attention. It's coming soon. If you're interested, let us know.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Is Matt going to come over and say goodnight to everybody too?
Sure. Hey, Matt, did you want to say goodnight to everybody? Hold on, guys. He said, here he goes. Oh. Yeah, take that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So stay tuned for next week because that is the one where we do safety in the home. So that should be another one. So and I'm sure that Matt will be able to yell at us then too. So.
All right. Yes. Well, I think on that note, we'll say goodnight, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, everyone. Good night.